Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They've been around for a long time and they've had a lot of different iterations. And when I saw the trailer for the newest movie, I got pretty excited because I think it looks really fun and really funny. So I have this Target special pack that has all of the turtles in it, along with a couple extra characters. So we're gonna be looking at that today, as well as their turtle van, which I am crazy excited about. As a kid, I never had one. I had a few turtles, never had the van, never had the blimp, even though I made one out of like a balloon and paper. It was terrible, but I was a kid, right? So that's okay. But we're gonna be taking a look at the turtles, how they articulate, and how well they fit inside the turtle van. So stick around and we're gonna get right into it. Here's the box set with all 4 of the turtles, as well as 2 extra characters. I really love the box design because it obviously is designed to look like they're actually driving the turtle van itself. This is definitely something I would have used a lot as a kid, just as is. The top has this nice pizza thing on top. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be a raft or something. Even the back has like the back of the turtle van, and then here's the bottom. Nothing fancy there. And a quick note is that this is a great value getting all 4 of the turtles, because individually each figure is $10 each. The set is about $55. However, the difference though is that you're not getting the full set of accessories for every character. So that's not a huge deal for me because I only need their primary weapons, but if you're wanting like the ninja stars and other stuff, you're gonna need to get the individual figures for that. Here's the box for the van. Pizza launching action, super exciting. But the thing that really got me was the fact that it actually says fits all your turtle figures. So that's really exciting. That's something that every collector that collects a vehicle wants, is to be able to put all of their figures inside of it. And we're gonna see how well that actually goes. Here's a shot of the bottom so we can see that it's gonna come with the van, obviously, as well as 8 pizza discs. Here are a bunch of the different characters that you can collect, as well as a few other vehicles that you can get if you choose to. Real quick, I want to look at these 2 just because I'm more interested in looking at the turtles. So April looks a lot like how she looks in the trailer, so far so good there. And the articulation actually looks pretty decent considering this is a $10 figure. Then we have Bebop, and he looks great. Surprisingly, we have some neck articulation, and otherwise we have some pretty good looking articulation here as well. And I want to start with Leonardo, the leader. So let's actually look at the articulation first. So starting with the legs, we can go forward, we can't really go back, we can't really go to the side either, but we do have some thigh swivel, which is nice. So you can kind of go to the side if you decide to do it that way. And then we do have a 90-degree knee. We don't have any ankle tilt, but we do have swivel, which is nice. We have no waist swivel whatsoever. For our arms, we can go up, and then we can go all the way around. And then our elbow does go to a 90-degree. And our hands do swivel as well. And then our head, of course, has movement. So that's straight, that's down, and we can't really go up a whole lot. And that's the articulation. For a $10 toy, I think that's really nice. So as far as the design goes, it looks a lot like the version that we see on the trailers and what we expect to see in the movie. We have a couple of ninja stars that are molded into the belt there, so you can't really do anything with that. I love the fact that we do have actual holders for the swords. The colors look great. And speaking of colors, let's compare them to the next turtle. So we're gonna look at Donatello next. And obviously the articulation is effectively exactly the same, even though we are looking at slightly different body molds. So you can even see right here at the front of their front shell, you can see how different the front shells are just at this point of it, right? But what's cool is that not only are they different colors, right? Obviously we've got kind of, I guess we would call Leonardo the most neutral, regular green. This is more of a kind of a slime green. But what's cool is that even the arms, you can see that Leonardo's biceps are a bit bigger than Donatello's. So Donatello, you know, you think of him as being a little bit geekier, nerdier, so a little bit more slender and skinnier than the other turtles, and they replicate that really well here. And of course, we've got some glasses for him. We have a holder for his bow staff. And this is a fun thing where he's got a pouch, he's got a cell phone here. This cannot come out at all. However, this pouch does not have to stay on. You can pull it off if you want to. Downside of pulling it off is that you do have this little thing in the back, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. And once you have them off, you have, you know, kind of your standard turtle. The glasses though do not come off. Those are kind of glued on. So if you want those off, you're gonna have to rip them off his head. Next up, my first favorite turtle, because I loved all of them at one point or another. And let me know in the comments who your favorite turtle is. We have Michelangelo, of course. So again, we're seeing effectively the same level of articulation. And so with his green, we have a very different green than the other two boys already. And Michelangelo is always the fun-loving one. and he's often depicted as being the youngest, and as such he would also be the shortest. And so you can actually kind of see here that he is shorter than Donatello. Donatello and Leonardo are approximately the same height, and so that's really well done here. So we can see on the back, this is where his nunchucks are held in place. This is flexible plastic right here, so it's not too big of a deal to just pop in and out. So that's nice there. And that's Michelangelo with a nice big smile. Last but not least, Raphael. So you can see right off the bat that the paint of his side has come off onto his hand. This one was in his hand inside of the packaging, so I guess it was just in there for so long that the paint came off. So that's a bit of a bummer, but is what it is. We're again talking about $10 toys. And again, you know, you can see that his sides are being held in on his belt, which is fantastic. I didn't mention it before, but like the level of detail that we're seeing in the shell is also really nice too. I really like that. You know, every toy has to have their imprint of the company and other information like that. And we can see it right into there, but it's not colored in, it's just imprinted in. So it's hidden very, very well. Really happy about that. And again, looking at the colors of the turtles, you can see everyone has their own unique color. We can also see that Raphael is the biggest of the 4 boys, both in height as well as just physically being a bigger turtle. I also really like the detail that he's got some scars in his front shell, because you know, his character is typically the really brash, angry one that gets into fights very often. So it's cool to see that represented here. And now let's look at them holding their weapons. And here are the boys with the weapons out. Everybody's holding them successfully without any major problems, and I think that looks fantastic. Really good job there by Playmates. And now for a little size comparison. So we have NECA Leonardo from the first movie, we have Marvel Legends Spider-Man, and then Power Rangers Lightning Collection Green Rangers. Obviously the boys from the new movie are not actually 6-inch scale, so this is how they would look if you're trying to display them with other figures. So I would say they actually aren't terrible in some cases, because in this movie these turtles seem to be on the younger side. I feel like the original live action movie, they were closer towards being adults more than they were teenagers. These turtles seem more like young teenagers, like 13, 14 years old. And so, you know, being on the shorter side might actually work well for like the Legends and the Power Rangers Lightning scale. But with the NECA Ninja Turtles ones, they're just a little bit too tall for them to kind of be like the grown-up version of each other, right? So this is how it was inside of the box with all of the pieces like this, including a bunch of stickers, and then the rest of the parts are inside of the van itself. So I'm gonna put that together off camera. And here's the turtle van. I always wanted one as a kid. Now this isn't the one that I knew of growing up since they designed this for the new movie, but this is still really cool to have. So I put on all the stickers, I applied all the stuff. This is even battery powered, and I'll show you that in a second, but it looks great. After all the stickers and the wheels and everything is applied, the van looks like it's supposed to be kind of like a pizza delivery van, which obviously makes a lot of sense. And so we've got some stands back here for the turtles to stand on. No door on this side, but because there are no actual windows, then it shouldn't be hard to get any of the turtles in or out. We have a lot of faux lights on the front, right there, here, all over the place. So that's super fun to see. And now for the battery powered part. So you push down the pizza thing. You can press it once just for the door. If you press it down a little bit harder, then that comes out and you turn it on. And then when you press this in, the pizza will shoot out. You can't hold it in order to get them all to shoot out, but it'll shoot out one at a time. So like that. So if I keep pressing, then they will all fire. So that's 3 AA batteries, and I think that is super fun to have. Now let's get our turtles inside. I'm gonna start with Donatello. So it is nice because we can get him into a nice seated position thanks to the pretty good articulation. Now, what's nice is that you don't actually have to stick them through the window because the front, like the back, will pop open. And what's great is that on both sides, there's a little peg for their foot to get into. Right, so I got Donatello's foot in there, and I'm gonna sit Michelangelo next to him, and I'm gonna do the same thing on this side where I'm gonna peg his foot in. So without the pegs, they would kind of just rattle around. Once I close it up, then they are in, and they are nice and stable. Obviously, if I shake it a bunch, they will pop out, but they are in there. The backside does have a couple options, so you can get the turtles to stand back here. You could pop it down and have them kind of standing in there, and then obviously you can have one seated in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have one standing on the back and then have one seated. So there's Leonardo on the backside, And there's Raphael gripping the giant pizza cannon thing. And just to show you, I will pop him inside to show that he does fit inside just fine. And there you have it, all 4 turtles in the van. And what's great is that there's even plenty more space in the back if you wanted to stick in more characters. And that makes me super happy. That's super, super fun. So who exactly was this made for? Clearly this is made for actual children in mind, not exactly regular collectors like yourself and me, but this is still a super fun toy to play with. It definitely was a bit of a dream come true for me, since as a kid I never had the turtle van and now I get to have one. Even if it's not the exact one that I dreamt of as a kid, I still love this one. This is just super fun. Putting the stickers on was also deeply satisfying, which is really weird to say, but it was, because I got to put it on perfectly, exactly, because as a kid with kid hands, if you're putting on stickers, you may not put it on quite right. You put it on a little bit crooked, and then the edges start fraying, and then it ends up just looking really ugly. But this way you can put it on exactly how you want, and that's really nice. The figures themselves actually look really good. The articulation is actually pretty strong considering that these are $10 toys. Now the van itself is about $40 and the pack was $55, so that's really close to $100. If you get just the turtles, that's about 40 bucks just for them, so you're looking at about 80 bucks total. If you're looking at just the van itself to maybe modify to use for Marvel Legends, which I think it would actually be really good for that, then $40 is actually pretty good for what you're getting. Now I know these turtles aren't everybody's flavor, because some people prefer the turtles that were much more serious. I grew up with the silly turtles, but I also enjoy the serious ones too. So I love all the different turtles, and with that in mind, I have a bunch more other ones and I want to make a buyer's guide. So stick around if you're interested in seeing a comparison of a bunch of different Ninja Turtle figures. And otherwise, if you like vehicles, you should check out my Batmobile video over here.